Whitey
Had a
tighties.
proper war with Triple H over the world title, but again, that lacked heat.
Hey, was that Joe I want to be Joe Hendry. That brother look like Joe Hendry, don't he? He look like he about to get RKO out of nowhere. Bruh, where he come from? Australia? Oh, wait, no. Is that what Joe Hendry? I don't know. But, yo, if this brother... That's Joe Hendry Papa. The pappy. That's who that is right there. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Description Plug Alvin. Today I'm coming at y'all with another wrestling reaction. And I'm reacting to, if you're not sub to him, you should, What Culture WWE. And we're about to be talking about and listening in on top 10 of the next big things that just utterly flopped. To be honest with you, I don't even know why they would have thought this brother was going to ever be the next big thing. He was never that to me. So I can't wait to see who else they got up in here. But this brother right here, top 3 probably. Let's get into it. Let's have a good time. I ain't never liked nothing about this dude, by the way. I'm the biggest hater when it comes to Jack Swagger, Jack Hager, whoever he is. I ain't like the fact that he really ain't never had no muscles, but he was this all-American. I ain't like nothing. His voice annoyed the heck out of me. There was nothing tough about this fella. Not a thing. Everything. I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that he walked, the way that he talked. I hate the way that he dressed.
I do not like the word flopped. I've ruined the video already, but it's true. The machine can always get behind you and something clicks. I mean, technically, Steve Austin was a so-called flop when he joined the then WWF. I think that turned out all right. So let us just switch it to those who are still waiting to find their wings, even after WWE tried. I believe in you, though, damn it. I am Simon Miller, and let's go. Number 10, Austin Theory. I mean, you can hear me talk about this on my Ups and Downs review.
I hate this group right here. I tell you what, this is probably gonna make me sound like the biggest hater, but there's certain things I don't like. I do not like this brother right here, Grayson Waller, whatever his name is, and this brother's ring attire. Hate it. It looks like a cheerleader. I don't get it. I don't like it. Them shorts is too short, but they're not short really, but they kind of short. Don't really make no sense. You might as well go ahead and throw jorts on like John Cena at this point. I hate the way how this brother just looks in the ring. You know, sometimes you just look and you're like, nah, that ain't it. That's not a good look. You should have went that way, homie. Nah. But when it comes to Austin Theory now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna hold you. I'm a pretty big Austin Theory fan. I think this brother, when it comes to his character, his moveset, his look, everything about him, he could potentially get back to where he was, where he's rising. And I don't really know, because it's been a minute since I've actually really gotten into wrestling like that. I don't know what's been stunting his growth, but I want to see Austin Theory get back into the limelight, and potentially maybe he jumps in with Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins now and can probably be the Seth Rollins of that group moving forward, you know, that eventually breaks out and portrays everybody, and then he becomes, because I like Austin Theory.
We just need to treat Austin Theory a little bit differently. I get that he's easy to hate because he's a looker and carved out of stone, but do you remember what he did on NXT? That's the Theory I want on the main roster. Just a bit of a lovable goof. I think Triple H realizes this because he was pulling the NXT strings then, and we have teased turning Austin for what feels like years now. I think when we try properly, it's gonna work. If nothing else, none of this was really his fault, because when it was time to go hard, what did we do? We told Theory his story was all about a giant gold egg. It's not a joke either. That is what we chose to do. Pray tell why this failed to catch on. So sure, it's fair to say round 1 was not as expected, and that US title run wasn't great, but I believe, like Bo Dallas, watch this space, 9 Wardlow. It just doesn't make sense. I would say on
this brother right here, physique crazy, pretty cool name, Wardlow. I like it, but me, I'm not really a big AEW guy. I've seen some of his matches. I've heard some of the critiques that people have of him. And yeah, he just might just be one of them big guys that ain't really trying to get better. Unless I'm wrong, let me know down below. But from what I hear, he's just like stuck with being who he is and how he's presented, and not that great when it comes to the mic skills and stuff like that.
At least 2 occasions we were good to go with Wardlow, and we didn't follow through. I don't want to speculate, as I don't know, but it is weird. These days, he's not even on TV. Now, this could be an injury, but it still makes it all very sad. Wardlow felt like a guy who could offer something different for AEW, but it was such a stop-start push. I'm not sure anyone felt like they could truly get behind him. I suppose we fell into a pattern because Wardlow went from group to group to group, and every time it was ready to hit, we just didn't. After a while, it is boy that cried wolf. you stop believing in it. I think you can get one more proper push with Ward, but you have to go all the way. If not, maybe it's time to let him go and try elsewhere. I mean, I think somebody can definitely use this guy. Number 8, Alberto Del Rio. So it is not easy to talk about Alberto Del Rio.
Brother got that
Go
crazy
Google,
guy.
that is a horrible story. The truth is, though, when WWE brought him in, they wanted Del Rio to be their new Mexican babyface. Given he had size, management were even more excited. You know the deal. Rey Mysterio is too small. So stupid. Every time we did try this, however, it did not work. Alberto was never accepted as a good guy, and while his heel run was alright, it wasn't at the level.
Didn't he come in as a heel? I don't remember this brother ever being a babyface. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna hold you. He came in, if I'm not mistaken, with the pompous, I'm rich, I'm better than you, I'm Mexican royalty attitude. His vignettes coming into it was like he was the world's most interesting man, like no Dos Equis included. And there was never nothing, I don't remember this brother ever being viewed as a good guy. I don't. Now, as a bad guy, I did enjoy his run. I enjoyed what he brought, how he was able to utilize that. But obviously, when it comes to his personal life and how crazy this brother is, okay, you know, cool. What's crazy is, if I'm not mistaken, from what I heard anyway, y'all let me know. Y'all probably know a little bit better than I do because I'm just starting to get back into it. But WWE this past weekend, WrestleMania weekend, bought the company that he was wrestling in, and he was he a champion in, and fired him. Said, nah, bro. I don't know if that's true or not, but I did see that on Facebook, and you can only take a little bit of Facebook what it says. But that's wild if that was the case. Just bought this company and said, no, we don't like you still. We still do not like you. You're a bad guy. Bad guy, so you got to go.
All those in charge wanted. And we got rid of Ricardo Rodriguez, which was an integral part of the act. We did it all wrong. Del Rio was also the dude that used his Money in the Bank briefcase to stop CM Punk's title reign in 2011. That was really dumb. Nobody should have done that. The less said about we the people, the better, and yeah, WWE honestly thought Alberto would be a WrestleMania main eventer. He was not. Number 7, Sin Cara. So it always sounds like there was some political warfare when it came to the debut of Sin Cara. He was touted as Triple H's first major signing as he took over his talent relations role. Maybe, just maybe, Vince McMahon wanted to make his life more difficult. Sin Cara himself allegedly didn't help as he walked around backstage like a star. You know how that goes in wrestling. You just irk others and put a target on your back. It then got worse because, be it nerves or whatever,
dope move set, like this move right here. Shout out. Now they got this group Fraxium, where Axiom does this move. Dope. Love this move. I'm so upset he ruined himself. He ruined himself, not only apparently with the backstage politics and how he just may have thought himself to be this great thing. If I'm not mistaken, there's also been reports of him not really learning English like that either, to where it was kind of hard to work with. And then obviously the botches and botches upon botches that this brother has had when it comes to his matches. So, man, I was a huge Sin Cara fan too. Let me know down below. Do you think it's real? Because I heard, don't know if it's true. I heard that they kept his lights dim and low to kind of help kind of hide some of the issues that this brother was having. Now, maybe that's not the case. Maybe because he was Sin Cara and they was bringing this new flavor and new flair to it. That's why he had his matches like that. So, again, I'm not saying I know, but I heard it. So if you know, let me know.
Sin made one too many mistakes in the ring. Even on his first match, he tripped during his entrance. WWE has always been notorious for holding that against you if other factors are at play. There were attempts to sort this in the sense the former Mystico was teamed with Rey Mysterio for a while, which I assume was meant to be a passing of the torch moment. But before long, they cut their losses, got rid of Mystico, and put Hunico in his place. Don't worry about Mystico though, because he did fine. He went back to Mexico and continued to be a megastar. Number 6, Nathan Jones.
Ooh, big Nate.
Too much, too soon. That is the story here. You can find this narrative constantly throughout the years too, so it's amazing Vince McMahon didn't learn. Just because somebody is massive doesn't mean they need to be on the main roster instantly. The rumors have always said management would try and hijack dudes from the boss because they knew what would happen otherwise. I suppose Nathan Jones was just too gargantuan. Vince saw the 8x10s, and here came the big push. The issue was Jones wasn't ready to be on the main roster, and even the powers that be figured that one out. WrestleMania 19's proposed tag team match of The Undertaker and Nathan saw Jones get pulled at the last minute, and for a good while, all he did was run-ins. Soon the big Australian fell out with the travel schedule too, and I would assume when you can feel the tide turning, you just check out. That's exactly what happened. With more time, who knows what the story would be today, although if you do care, Nathan Jones went on to have a pretty decent career in Hollywood. That is not too shabby.
But not to
5, Ronda Rousey. Now, I would say the jury is still out on this one.
See, I don't think that this didn't not work. Now, even though she was booed as all get out, when she became the heel, that's what you want. It's not like people were just like, didn't have responses to her. They wanted her to go away, sure. They hated her. Hey, cool. That's what you're supposed to want when you're heel. And she won. She won titles. She sucked on the mic, sometimes botched too, but hey, it is what it is. She's still very new into it. She did, I think, what she was supposed to do when she came in. She came in, wanted to try, gave it all, whether it was babyface or not. You know, they rocked with her for a little bit. She won titles, had some good times, WrestleMania moments. That's not a flop. It's not a flop. It's not a flop. It's not like these other people that came in and didn't do anything. They was hyped up to here, didn't do it. Now, with that, could you say Alberto Del Rio as well? Sure. You could say Alberto Del Rio. What? Well, no. See? Now, okay, I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't think Alberto Del Rio is a flop either. Don't think he was a flop because he did win. He just wasn't able to sustain it. He did his thing for a couple years, and then it just so happened that then the gravy train died and he couldn't build himself back up again. He couldn't find a way to claw himself out the mid-card road that he was back in. And then obviously again with his issues outside of wrestling, just got him out of here anyway. So, but I don't know if I call these two flops. I get it. You got to put some people on here, but there actually might be some real flops that would be more deserving than these two. I don't know who they are right now, but at the end, I'll probably think of more or think of two to replace these people.
It all depends how you look at it. Ronda herself has talked about how she would have preferred the Logan Paul treatment when it came to her matches, in the sense she would be allowed to rehearse beforehand. The difference was Rousey was basically a full-timer for a while, and there's no time for a run-through when you're on the road making towns. It's why the super pros called it in the ring when they had to. It's a very demanding industry. Her first run was pretty good, and that Mania debut was awesome, and even the weird Becky Lynch-Charlotte Flair triple threat was fine. We just overcooked the pudding, and the finish didn't work. It was when Ronda returned for round 2 that it never really clicked. Rousey pitched idea after idea to those in charge who clearly saw things differently. Therefore, the on-screen fallout felt off. I mean, just go and listen to any Ronda interview about this. She was not happy. I still think she brought new eyes to the WWE, so you can't say it was a total bust. Just feels like she needed to be approached in a certain way, and that didn't happen, which I kinda get. She wasn't an experienced wrestler with years of reps under her belt. There's also...
You know what? No, I'm taking it back. The more that I'm thinking about it, because she could have been that much better. She could have been Kurt Angle. She could have been Brock Lesnar. She could have been the baddest woman ever. She could have took the title 9th wonder of the world, and she could have been the 10th wonder in the world. She could have been that. Now, maybe not though, because by this time of her getting to the WWE, she was already kind of tainted a little bit when it comes to her aura wasn't as strong because she had lost a couple times. So, but no, yeah, I think she still could have been the next big thing. So I take it back. Her and Alberto Del Rio could have been way bigger. Could have been. Yes, they won titles. Yes, they did their things for a little bit. But when it comes to, there's something to longevity. There's something to making a bigger impact. And none of them did. So, okay, I take it back. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's all right. I can take my thought back because I've been able to listen to what Brother Simon talking about. And I've been able just to think, you know what? It's all right. I can say I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? We just watching this through and, thoughts come in, thoughts come out. But as long as you feel good about where you're at, and I feel good that, yeah, they flops.
Also, the whole should she have been a good guy or should she have been a bad guy discussion. What a wild time this was. And before Jack Swagger. WWE must have done something right with Jack Swagger. I love the guy. This was way back in 2011 when I was already doing wrestling podcasts. I would get behind him every single week. He was slightly goofy, but it worked.
We disagree. I hate this brother so very much. Like I stated in the beginning, there is nothing about, so there's a, Vince McMahon loves big, strong guys. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to hold you pause. When it comes to physiques, I think that even if you can go in the ring, I think it's better off if somebody can actually take time to work on themselves. If you're going to be a professional wrestler, in my view, I have more believability when it comes to people that look the part as well. So when you got people like Batista, AO, looks the part. You ain't got to be as big as Batista, but just have some sort of look to you. When it comes to Randy Orton, when he was the Viper, he was tall, obviously, and he really wasn't built muscular like that, but he was cut, he was defined. He looked like a snake. He looked like he was who he said he was. Punk kicking folks, doing all that shaking. You know what I'm saying? Stone Cold. Like, these people have looks to them. Even Shawn Michaels, though he was a little fella, he still had cut. He looked like a performer. When it comes to this brother just looks like a tall, everyday brother. You see him at the stove. You see him teaching class somewhere. So that's another thing I dislike, that this brother is supposedly this bad dude, but looks like Uncle Bill. Looks like Ted from down the street. How I Met Your Mother, I don't know. That's who this brother looked like to me, though. Just regular old dude. Jack Swagger. All American, but looks like just a normal American in my eyes. So when it comes to me, yes, looks do play a factor. And he ain't never had that look. He ain't had the sound. He ain't had the swagger. He had the name. He ain't had the swagger with it. No. He was real corny. He said he was a little bit goofy. No, his brother was big time trash. Big time goofball. This brother was goofy movie type goofy. SpongeBob and Patrick arguing with Daffy Duck type goofy. This is who this brother was, and I wasn't a fan.
Swagger made himself stand out. The problem was, after he won the Money in the Bank briefcase at Mania 26 and cashed it in to become the world champion, he was never actually pushed like a world champion. That old chestnut. Instead, like many before him, Jack was given what was considered the secondary major title, and therefore lost this allure. If you want fans to believe in somebody as the guy, you have to treat them like the guy. That's basic mathematics. We've already mentioned the We the People stuff, as Swagger was caught up in that too. And just in case you did miss it, it was not good. Jim Ross was certainly somebody high on this man, but yeah, he only had an okay run in WWE. And there really was a time when it felt like we were going to make a proper go at it. We didn't. Number 3, Mr. Kennedy. Kennedy. Sorry. So this one was good to go. Not only was Ken Kennedy going to get the push, but everybody was behind this. He could work, he could talk, he was over. Let's get it on. Vince McMahon was impressed too and got the Money in the Bank briefcase on him. And at one point, he was going to be Vince's son. And that would have been a stupid storyline, but hey, it does mean you're going to be focused on quite heavily. And then, man, it all went bad. Soon after getting the magic case, Kennedy got injured and lost it to Edge. When we learned,
Man, got injured. That's what happens, though, boy. You get injured, you get replaced. Out of sight, out of mind. Mr. Anderson. Not Kennedy, Mr. Anderson. Where's he wrestle at now? Last time I seen this brother was wrestling in, TNA? And it's been a long time. Is this brother still wrestling? I don't know, but you gotta stay with that momentum. It sucks, but it happens. But with that, shout out to this brother for going to TNA and having a good time there, doing his thing. Again, I don't know where he's been after that, but he didn't let himself die down just because his WWE shot kind of took a dive.
this was an error. His shoulder was not as bad as first thought. Whoops. As soon as that was done, he was caught up in a wellness policy suspension, and then he ran afoul of John Cena and Randy Orton. Apparently they thought he was unsafe in the ring. This was 2009, and I suppose a telling off from the main eventers was enough for WWE to change their mind, and Kenneth was let go. This really was crazy. We all thought he was going to be the champ. He did have a decent run in TNA, but let's be honest, when he was doing that, most assumed Kennedy would be headlining WrestleMania. Oh, what could have been. Number 2, Vladimir Kozlov.
This brother right here. Big trash. I never believed in him either. I never once thought that this big goof right here, this big squarehead, SpongeBob SquarePants head self, was ever gonna be somebody intimidating. I never. He came out strong, but I never believed it one time. And then they put him in the tighty whities. Like, bro, what are y'all doing? Y'all really ruined him there. Y'all had this brother in the tighty whities wrestling out here trying to be a BA. No. I don't know if it's his fault or the WWE's fault. Well, in my eyes, it's both. Because again, when it just comes to him, he was never believable. Never once. Maybe if he would have came in, if he could have just shaved it off, just bald head with it, maybe that'd have helped him out a little bit, in my eyes anyway, a little bit. But there was just never nothing intimidating about this dude.
This was so weird. It was 2008. For some reason, WWE thought it was 1987. I'm just not sure fans en masse wanted to see angry foreign heel, especially as it felt so cliched. Kozlov was also thrust into the spot with no real push. It was almost like Vince McMahon was searching for new ideas. He panicked and picked an old one instead. Vladimir got all the help too, as he even defeated The Undertaker on SmackDown, and that never happened. He had a proper war with Triple H over the world title, but again, that lacked heat.
Hey, was that Joe? I wanna be Joe Hendry. That brother looked like Joe Hendry, don't he? He looked like he about to get RKO out of nowhere. Bruh, where he come from? Australia? Oh wait, no, is that what Joe Hendry? I don't know, but yo, if this brother, that's Joe Hendry Papa. The pappy. That's who that is right there.
The crowd didn't really care. WWE soon gave up on this, with Vlad being moved into a comedy gimmick with Santino Marella, and hey, it was quite funny. It was also a huge 180 shift. With hindsight, I think WWE saw Kozlov as an Ivan Drago figure, but again, we were long past that. Rocky IV was released in 1985, so we were 23 years too late. Number 1, Gable Steveson. I mean, we likely shouldn't have called him the next Kurt Angle.
Another one who, bruh, you this big, this star, American wrestler, Olympian, college great, but you coming out here looking like me. You coming out here looking like a regular dude. You Gable Steveson. You don't have the look. He ain't had the look. Look at Kurt Angle right here. This man's 50 plus right here in this video. Put up, Jack still. When he came in, took his physique seriously. Now, back then, it was probably on steroids. Well, maybe not Kurt Angle, because he probably came in and actually really was about just working out, being fitness and wrestling, all that stuff. But later on, he probably did. But Gable Steveson, there was never no personality to this brother. There was never nothing about him that stood out. He had a name, and that was it. But his name, again, if you can't really, you can have a big name. You can. But if you can't do nothing, imagine if Logan Paul came in and looked like Jack Swagger. Imagine if he looked like Gable Steveson. Imagine that. He wouldn't have got no push. But now, hear me out. Imagine if Gable Steveson came in looking like Jason Jordan. What if that would have been the case? What if he would have came in like a Triple H type build? What if he would have came in like that? That would have been a bit more, and maybe it's just me because I do care about physiques, but that would have been a bit more like, hey, yo, he's about that action. He's about that life. So, and there's obviously some other issues that probably just weren't working out, because I don't think, did he ever even have a match in NXT? I think he was signed and then he was trying to get trained, and that was really about it for some time, because it's been a minute since he's been signed with them, but you just don't never see him, or never seen him, because now obviously he's let go, but.
Angle, that bar is way too high. Gable Steveson did arrive in WWE as a wrestling Olympic gold medalist, and look, in that field he was amazing. Many called him one of the best of all time. It's why WWE and UFC wanted to sign him up, and why when WWE got him he was put in NXT, but on a mega deal, they wanted to make this work. It didn't. There is no real reason either. You want to bring Angle back into the mix. He wasn't the greatest rookie ever just because of what he could do inside the ring. Kurt figured out character and sports entertainment within what felt like a week. That's why he rose so quickly. It never seemed like Gable had the same light bulb moment, plus his work didn't have the same personality as Angle's. Again, we should not have made this comparison. Before he even made it to the main roster, he was let go, and the word was Steveson just didn't get it. Which is fine, I understand. Pro wrestling isn't for everyone, but that's the whole point. Knowing other wrestlers that got a big push and it didn't really work out, make sure you let us know in the comments below before you like the
so that was What Culture WWE talking about the 10 next big things that flop. Let me know down below if you agree with the list or if you think other people need to be plugged in there. That being said, I appreciate you watching up to this point. It seems like YouTube is recommending this video to you. Go ahead on and check that out. Continue to rock out with your boy. It's your boy, Description Plug Albert. Catch y'all next time. I'm out.